Now, let's talk about something that almost all women do. It's common. It also happens to be a massive turnoff for high quality men. Now, this is especially true for more ambitious, successful women. They often do this, and it's done with good intentions, but often horrible results. Now, before I tell you what it is, I want to tell you about the science experiment that was discussed in Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. They interviewed a bunch of pretty horrible people, murderers, gangsters, people that have done terrible things to society, and they asked them, hey, what do you think about yourself? Almost 99 out of 100 of these people think that they're actually deep down the best people, really great people. They justified everything they did. Nothing stopped them from truly believing that they were this positive contributor to the world. Now, that's crazy, first of all, but it tells us something pretty important. It tells us that we can have a distorted view of ourselves and how our actions affect others. So before you say, Jason, I don't do this, just consider watching the rest of this video, because the number one turnoff is a woman who criticizes a guy or complains to him. Whether it's done on purpose or whether it's done reactively, you might criticize him without even realizing that you're doing it. Often, this shows up in the form of giving out advice, which can seem soft and gentle and caring. If we see someone struggling, maybe they're just trying to achieve something that we've got experience in. We know we can give them some really good feedback and help them. We might offer some of our experience and say, oh, I see you're doing this. How about try that? Right? And that seems pretty logical and normal in a relationship. You want someone who's going to be helpful to you, and you want to be helpful to them. However, advice giving almost always is met with feelings of, well, number one, defensiveness. Like, what's wrong? What am I doing? Are you saying I'm not good enough? Or number two, even if they listen to you and they take your advice, there's still going to be a hit to their pride and ego, because when you give advice, especially without being asked for it, you're saying, I'm big, you're little. Here's big me giving little you advice. So even if you're trying to help people by telling them that what they're doing isn't necessarily the best thing and there's a better way to do it, it's very rare that you can be helpful unless they want your help, they need your help, and they ask for your help. In fact, this has been proven time and time again by social scientists that the best way to help people is through positive feedback, praising them for their actions. People always do better when they're praised for doing the right thing, as opposed to being criticized and being given advice for something that they're not doing the best way possible. So until you're asked for your advice by someone who needs it and wants it, then giving unsolicited advice is just not that helpful. But what if a guy you just began dating isn't treating you how you'd like to be treated? Do you just keep your mouth shut and grin and bear it? Is that what I'm trying to say here? No, absolutely not. So how does a confident woman handle a situation like that? Well, she doesn't sit there and coddle a guy that's not treating her well. She doesn't waste her time trying to teach him or train him how to treat her, because she just goes back and focuses her time and energy back into her amazing, ambitious life. So if a guy isn't treating you the way that you deserve to be treated, you're not gonna yell at him or admonish him or waste any of time with that guy and then just expect that all of a sudden he's gonna become a different person. I wish that's how easy it was. I wish people would just change when we want them to, but they don't. So instead of wasting your time and energy trying to teach some guy who's not even treating you well how he can be a better partner, I'd encourage you to let him go. And just having those standards, just that alone is going to increase your attraction and allow him, if he's a smart guy, to be like, wait, what's going on here? And he'll start treating you differently. He'll have to figure it out. But if you have to do it yourself, if you have to be the one always correcting him, I'm telling you, he's not going to act different. He's only going to resent you for criticizing him. Another time you might react and criticize a guy is if you're dating someone or you've got a partner and they're doing something that annoys you or triggers you. Now, this is hard because the more comfortable you feel with someone, the easier it becomes to criticize them. Now, we could just say, why do you always do that? Or can you please just stop doing that? Feels safe for us to do that. However, again, it's rarely helpful and ends up being a huge turnoff, because everyone has egos, especially men. The moment that you start telling him early on in a relationship that he's not enough or he needs to change or he's upsetting you and this and that, it just creates a defensiveness and a separation between the two of you. So I'm not telling you to accept behavior that's unhealthy. I'm saying that there can be lots of things that perturb us about someone, but it's important to ask ourselves before we say anything, okay, I get this annoys me, but is this something that I can accept? Is this really truly a deal breaker? Because if it's a deal breaker, you gotta address it. But if it's not a deal breaker, I'd encourage you to pause and ask yourself, can I accept this about this guy? Because at the end of the day, all we want is someone to love and accept us for our best and our worst flaws. That's the deepest gift you can give a partner, is just true acceptance. So I encourage you to practice acceptance, because acceptance is a muscle. You've got to strengthen it and exercise it. And the more that you can learn to accept people for their differing gifts, the more that you can be calm and happy and create powerful attraction between the two of you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I encourage you to check out a special presentation that I created about how to tap into a man's innermost desire and use a commitment code to stop him from pulling away or ghosting you or losing interest. Now, some of what I reveal in there will be surprising, but I promise you it'll help you to build a deeply committed relationship. So I'll see you over there. Be well.